Picture landing the exact job you've dreamed about for years, only to realize there might be something bigger and more unsettling going on behind the scenes. That's the predicament comedian Jess Hilarious says she's facing after joining the Breakfast Club. What once felt like a winning opportunity has spiraled into rumors of replacement, unspoken rivalries, and heated on-air moments. Is Jess overreacting? Or is this her wake-up call that ambition in show business can be a double-edged sword? Let's dive into the story that has everybody talking. From the moment Jess Hilarious took her seat at the Breakfast Club table, it seemed like everything was finally falling into place. Audiences were curious to see how her brash comedic style would blend with the more established voices on the show, and the early buzz suggested she'd become an instant favorite. The producers, DJ Envy, and Charlemagne all appeared thrilled to have a fresh personality who could bring a spark of humor to their daily broadcast. Jess herself was over the moon. She'd landed a prominent gig on a nationally recognized platform, and the road ahead looked bright. Yet, beneath the surface of that dream opportunity, quiet rumors started swirling. Some longtime fans questioned whether her fun approach would truly hold up under the weight of the Breakfast Club's massive audience. Others were eager to see how she'd handle hard-hitting interviews with serious guests. Still, the excitement surrounding Jess's arrival eclipsed any doubts, and for a while, it felt like the show had found the perfect addition to its lineup.
The craziest shit is, right? I wanted Breakfast Club so bad. I wanted it. I grew up on the show. The fuck? Like, what? Hall of Fame show? What are we talking about? Syndicated? This ain't my first time doing radio, but I'm just saying, like, this is the biggest fucking show culturally. You know what I'm saying? I was eating that shit up the whole year I co-hosted, eating that shit up until I had to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but in a place known for big personalities, even small cracks can grow quickly. And when new pressures emerged, Jess would soon wonder if her dream opportunity was setting her up for something far more complicated than she ever expected. Everything changed when Jess announced she was expecting a child. Eager to keep the show running smoothly during her maternity leave, she handpicked Lauren, a capable journalist, to fill in. No one, least of all Jess, expected Lauren's temporary gig to stretch beyond her absence. Yet upon Jess's return, Lauren was still there. It wasn't just a casual guest host arrangement anymore. It felt like a permanent new seat at the table, and nobody had warned Jess ahead of time. Fans began noticing the tension almost immediately. Jess wrestled with how this quietly confident newcomer had so quickly become part of the main crew. On the surface, Lauren was everything the showrunners seemed to prize: focused, prepared, and journalistically inclined. Whispers started circulating. Was management leaning toward Lauren's polished delivery over Jess's comedic flair? For Jess, that gnawing suspicion was the first real sign that she might be facing a carefully orchestrated shift in the show's dynamic.
Is like that. Yeah. That's why I picked her to fill in for me for maternity leave. This woman every day. Every day. I don't have no reason to fucking hate on that girl. I don't. No, I didn't like her when I came back because I'm like, all right, what's going on? What's going on? She knew it. We had a conversation. Because the anger was misplaced. Nah, it ain't even you that I don't like, I'm realizing. This is the way these niggas is doing shit up here that I don't like. Okay, got it.
It didn't take long for the differences between Jess and Lauren to stand out. Jess had built her audience around quick humor and a sharp tongue, while Lauren leaned on her journalistic training to keep the show steady and fact-driven. Listeners quickly drew comparisons. One voice brought levity, the other brought structure, and each approach had its fans. But when it came to on-air chemistry, their clashing styles often made segments feel more like a competition than a team effort. Rumors kicked into high gear once people started suggesting that Lauren's polished presence made Jess seem less prepared. For Jess, every new compliment aimed at Lauren felt like another blow to her own credibility, fueling a growing frustration that couldn't stay hidden for long. Nothing fuels a show's buzz like behind-the-scenes friction, and in this case, The drama wasn't limited to off-air chatter. Listeners started noticing how both Jess and Lauren sometimes tried to speak over each other, particularly when sensitive topics or breaking news stories hit. While Lauren's methodical style appealed to viewers who wanted substance, Jess's quick wit often led to interruptions, or so the internet claimed. Early morning segments designed to highlight diverse perspectives instead became tense face-offs, where neither seemed entirely comfortable yielding the spotlight. As the rumors intensified, people wondered if higher-ups at the show were deliberately feeding this rivalry. Some speculated that management found it beneficial to let the tension simmer, believing it might attract more listeners hungry for on-air drama. For Jess, every backhanded compliment directed at Lauren felt like a sign that she was no longer the show's fresh new star, but rather the odd one out. She began to suspect that these subtle changes in format and approach were actually part of a broader plan. In her mind, it was no coincidence that so many viewers and internet voices started favoring Lauren's style right when the show's direction seemed to shift. If that wasn't enough, talk of a potential replacement hovered over every broadcast, pushing Jess closer to a breaking point she never saw coming. It wasn't long before social media took center stage in this growing drama. Listeners who once tuned in for entertainment began dissecting every facial expression and vocal inflection, fueling an online feeding frenzy. Jess, known for her comedic timing and candid nature, suddenly found herself on the receiving end of relentless criticism. Some declared her immature for her emotional outbursts, while others insisted she had every right to defend her position on the show. The difference in demeanor between Jess and Lauren only amplified the controversy. Lauren's cool, reportorial stance made Jess's reactions appear even more dramatic by comparison.
For real. Act like nobody knew that. Stop acting like y'all, like,
What
we
part?
really...
What you mean we don't have your back?
I have more...
Break that down. Explain how we don't have your back.
Okay, all right. So the narrative, like I said, with the online-ish, that's what I said. Y'all ain't nobody trying to clear up no narrative about nothing.
Gossip forums spun theories about an orchestrated plan to replace Jess, and each new episode seemed to add another layer of intrigue. Comments about professionalism versus authenticity popped up everywhere, with viewers debating who truly deserved the spotlight. Exhausted by the speculation, Jess began wondering if anyone in management would step in to calm the storm, or if they were quietly letting it rage because the buzz meant more eyes and ears on the show. Feeling cornered and misunderstood, she wrestled with how much of herself to share online, worried that one wrong move could confirm everyone's worst assumptions and push her closer to a public meltdown. Eventually, every whispered rumor and tense exchange led to the moment Jess couldn't hold back her frustrations any longer. On air, her composure started to slip. Listeners caught her rolling her eyes or tapping her phone when Lauren spoke. Some even spotted her checking out entirely during major interviews. The cracks in their unified front widened, and fans on social media seized these viral moments as proof that the show was on the brink of a major shakeup. Jess, feeling the weight of a possible replacement looming over her, fired back in ways that might have done more harm than good. She vented online, accusing The Breakfast Club of blindsiding her with a co-host she never consented to having around permanently. When higher-ups responded with calls for unity, or worse, shrugged it off as standard office politics, Jess's outrage turned into genuine hurt. It seemed to her that no one cared she felt undermined, and even fewer were offering real solutions. Behind the scenes, frustration filled every meeting and group chat. Jess asked direct questions, but the answers were evasive at best. Worse yet, she felt alone, convinced the show's leadership was more interested in milking the buzz than resolving the tension. With each passing broadcast, the emotional toll grew heavier, leading her to question whether this so-called dream job was worth the daily stress. For audiences watching this drama unfold, it was clear something had to give, and soon. Whether this is all just a manufactured feud to spike ratings or the start of a real changing of the guard, one thing's certain: Jess Hilarious has reached a crossroads that could reshape both her future and the Breakfast Club's lineup. In a world where behind-the-scenes drama can overshadow the show itself, it's no longer about who's funnier or who's more professional. It's about which host will outlast the whispers, the pressure, and the very real possibility of being replaced. If this story has you thinking about loyalty, ambition, and the fine line between business and betrayal, make your voice heard. Comment below with your take on whether Jess is overreacting, or if there's a plan to quietly move her out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening stories and the latest on everything unfolding behind the mic.